Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included. In the previous episode we have more or less finished the base cooling. However, you had a couple of suggestions important enough for me to go back a couple of save games and actually do it slightly differently. Now, not a lot has changed, it's mostly the power routing that has changed. What we have previously is this heavy watt joint plate between those two rooms, the steam turbine room and the steam room itself. And of course, as you predicted, that resulted in a couple of issues because I underestimated the heat conductivity of those heavy watt joint plates. That was such a crucial mistake that I decided to go back quite a few cycles. I went back like 7 or 10 cycles in order to fix everything that we had here. And the way we are routing the power to the thermo aqua tuners, and I really wanted to avoid that. That's why I originally didn't do it this way, but it's unavoidable. We are now using some large power transformers. That was my main concern because we need to use one power transformer dedicated for each aqua tuner, which really sucks, but that's just the way it goes. But I think I figured a good solution in order to keep the cycle more efficient this way. So if we have a look at the power, it's still coming from the top, or in case we are producing much, it's also sending power up. But anyways, it's going through here in order to feed the power transformers. From the power transformers, we have a cable that you can actually route through the walls into both of the aqua tuners, as you can see here, and it's also powering this liquid shutoff on the top. However, the difference is now we don't have a lot of heat exchange between these two rooms any longer, which means they can have a totally opposite climate and it's not gonna interfere with each other. The steam turbine only starts to work at 125 degrees, and the problem was it was exchanging temperatures here, and then of course I was still using this loop in order to cool everything down. And that was obviously not very elegant because we were basically cooling down the liquid and then using this chill in order to cool down the steam turbine, which then again cooled down the room here at the bottom, and it was just an endless vicious cycle. Now I just see the way I rerouted this, we could also do something like that. I actually kind of like that a bit more, and I think we can easily accomplish that. All I have to do is get back in there again. Anyways, I decided to route the power through a heavy watt joint plate this way, and this way I can actually use the chill of the steam turbine room in order to also cool down my large power transformer room. And we still have the space for 1 or 2 more of these transformers in case we need to power up another contraption. Another thing some people wondered is why I'm not self-powering this Rodriguez design, and the reason for that is you can only self-power the Rodriguez design if you actually use up the entirety of the oxygen. As you can see, it's clogging up at the moment because we are not breathing everything, we're not using the entirety of the oxygen, and therefore we are also not producing as much, also not hydrogen. You have to have a full production in order to get enough hydrogen so that you can power up like 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 hydro generators without an issue powering everything. But since we are not using up the entirety of the oxygen, that is always going to be a problem. So I usually stick with hooking it up to the main system, but it shall also provide power to the main system in certain spikes. But in order to not confuse you, I built the exact same thing except for the power. That was the important thing. We cannot use these heavy watt joint plates anymore. In the previous series, obviously, we had this modded a little bit, so it is an insulated plate. But now we have to deal with the vanilla mechanics, and so we have to change a couple of things every now and then. Okay, but there we go. Now I'm actually pretty happy with what we have going on here. I also put down the sensor to 15 degrees instead of 20, so we have a little bit more chill going on. And you can also see at the beginning we have 16 degrees, but once we reach the end it's already at 19 degrees. And that is of course because the oil is eventually heating up a little bit throughout the loop. Now one more thing I wish I did actually in the process is exchange this with maybe polluted water for its heat capacity. But I think the way we have it now, it's actually gonna function perfectly. If we have a look throughout the base, we can already see certain areas are starting to chill down. That is good, especially this one here. This was looking much worse previously. And there we go. That's basically it for the changes for the oxygen system and the base cooling. Now let's get to the next topic. The next thing I actually want to take care of before it is too late is a constant source of water. We already have a little bit of polluted water going on here, however, we always have to temperature regulate it in some way or the other. At the moment we're doing this with the metal refinery, but that is not a very elegant solution. Also on the top here, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we have a brine or a cool salt slush geyser. So what we need is to get into research, and we are going to need this machine, the desalinator, which removes salt from brine or salt water producing normal water. So that's exactly what we're gonna research. We are then going to make our way up here in order to figure out what this all is about. Maybe up to this point, that should be good. And then we dig over here and we want to know what that exactly is. Is it a brine geyser or a salt geyser? I'm not even sure if there is a brine one. There's actually another thing I want to prepare this world for before we build too much stuff. As you know me, I like to have things organized, and at the moment I feel like we have a lot of things just all over the place. And admittedly, I'm not too happy with it. I would like to have things a little bit more spread out, a bit more organized. So I can already see an episode coming that's titled Reshaping My Entire Base. Before we can even think about that though, we basically have to dig up the entirety of the terrain. So we have the space for it. For instance, we could then go ahead and move certain things. I'm probably gonna keep this in place together with the critter farms. We have the space for 2 more critter farms here on the top, and I'm just gonna keep on doing it like so. However, other things will have to be restructured. For instance, now that we got rid of the polluted dirt and everything, we don't need as many composts anymore. I also would like these machines to be a little bit more filtered out. Yeah, essentially I would like to have things a bit more modular, especially once we introduce the transit tubes and can travel around the world rather quickly. Now, as mentioned, in order to be able to accomplish that, we're gonna have to dig up a lot of the terrain, and that is exactly what I'm gonna prepare right now. At certain spots, I would like to have tiles instead of ladders, so all of the stuff we dig up on the top is not gonna drop down all the way to the basement, basically. And thinking about that, in this case, we might want to speed up this layer here, so this gets built first. But at this point, I think we are not too stressed out, right? Except for maybe the water. I hope the water is not going to be a problem soon. But what I meant to clarify is we're going to dig up a lot of stuff in today's episode. We're also going to continue here with another layer using igneous rock. Actually, is that the best material I could use? We could also go with... No, actually, we don't have any more granite. Intriguing. So yeah, igneous rock it's going to be. No, hold on. That is the wrong level. We want to build this right here. Yeah, that's better. There are also a lot of points of interests we can actually get rid of at this point. I also want to do the same exact thing here on the top. As soon as we have dug up everything, we can then decide for a modular design. So for instance, we're going to move the bedrooms and everything up there using a transit tube as well. However, before we go too crazy, we want to make sure this is all walled off. Actually, maybe up to this point, that should be enough. Oh, no, this way they will actually be able to move over that. So we will have to find a different solution here. Maybe I'm just going to build it up to there. Gonna do the same thing here on the other side. Wonderful. And this way we should be able to dig up most of the stuff we have going on here. Yeah, I'm also gonna go ahead and prepare that actually. So we need a way to get up there and then more ladders, please. We're maybe gonna finish it at this point so we still have a protective layer between space and our base. This again though might result in problems with our gas pipes here. Maybe we just bring it all the way up in this case for the time being and all the way over here. And we are gonna use maybe not a normal gas vent but a high pressure gas vent right at this spot. So I can go ahead and take this apart. This one is overpressured anyways, but I don't want my hydrogen to go all over the place. I would like it to be collected right here in this area for the time being. But yeah, there we go. That should be plenty of building commands for these bastards not to become idle any longer. At least for a little while. And we will get all the building space and materials we can dream of. But mostly building space, that's why I'm doing it. And the same exact thing should also happen here on the other side. So yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit nuts in today's episode. Sorry guys. Oh geez, that is indeed a lot of digging and building. Well, mostly digging. Cool. Okay, the game is now not running smoothly anymore, which is a good indication we should go ahead and unpause it now. Research already completed, so we could make use of the brine as well as the salt water. We might want to do that because I already have some brine just hanging out here, not knowing what to do with it yet. Guys, where have you started working? I see nobody actually doing the digging at the moment, which is slightly concerning. Ah, there we go. I actually found my diggers. The astronauts should also help out occasionally with that job. Also, I believe somebody is bound to get stuck somewhere, so I have to stay vigilant. Oh no, I didn't mean to release that oxalide, though maybe at this point it's not even necessary to keep it. Actually, I'm still really tempted to keep it. I think it's important, you know, at least for our first rocket that is going to require the oxalide, so we already have some and don't need to produce it extra. There we go, it's now encased, and since we have enough pressure here, it shouldn't disappear anymore. I also think I'm actually going to replace this row of ladders with another row of tiles, so we have another place where materials are getting stored. Yeah, all of this needs to be a tile. As this is happening in the background, in the meantime, I believe we should be able to take care of this room here. At the moment, yeah, I'm just recycling the oil here, but I would like to reintroduce it into the system. So all we have to do is something like that. Maybe, yeah, that should be good. And obviously now every time we build something, we have to speed things along a little bit. But once we have the oil back in our system, we should be able to keep this room going and therefore produce more plastics, right? Do we also have more steel for that? Actually, not quite enough. Need a little bit more steel for our reservoirs. This is also gonna give us more water. Right now, I believe, yeah, right now my water is still consistent. However, the polluted water is slowly but surely coming to its close. There's actually one more thing we should take care of, namely incubators for our grubs, right? Let's see, I have tons of copper, so we can easily introduce 5 more of these. Why is it always that I'm building something when the day-night cycle ends? Naturally, I'm using the incubators once again in order to automate this a little bit. We will keep the critters at bay, so there are not too many. At the moment, it is overcrowded, so we will have to get rid of at least one of those. And then what we want is to grab the grub eggs. Where do we have that? Oh, I have a glossy draclet egg. That's intriguing. We really might be able to do something with that. Let me go ahead and collect this in this chest for the time being. Critter egg, glossy draclet. You want to come over here. But of course what I wanted in the incubators is grub eggs. So as soon as we have this filled up, all the additional eggs are going to be cooked up, and that is probably another thing we have to initiate here in the egg cracker. So we continuously want to cook up our grub eggs at this point as well. Of course, we also have to make sure that the incubators are at a higher priority than the egg cracker. So they should be served first, and only if everything is full, we're going to crack the eggs. At the same time, we can also get some more meat in the joint instead of omelets by just killing off these critters here. Okay, let's quickly check. Did we get that egg already? Yeah, it's in there. So we are just gonna put it on the floor and wait for that to hatch. Glossy draclets, by the way, I believe are going to produce plastics or oil. I'm actually not sure. We'll have to check. But I think it's plastics. I've never used them actually, since I find the polymer press method to be efficient enough. After a couple of cycles, we can already see the temperatures are getting much better, and I'm saying that as some of my duplicates get scolded, but you know, my point was the oxygen is doing its thing, and of course my guys are getting scolded here a little bit because they dared to follow my commands. Maybe leave this be here for the time being. You have enough other things to do. I also just received some Pip Eggs from the printing pod, and I'm gonna bring them over here as well. The pips I can use in order to plant down seeds in natural tiles, and therefore this is going to allow me to make a nature reserve in the future for a substantial morale boost. But more to that when we get to it. Wait a second, what happened here? Where did my... Uh-oh, I have a problem. I forgot to hook something up here. That really is not good. I did not realize that for a long time apparently, but yeah, we need oxygen for all of our suits, of course. And oh no, what is that? Another gas pipe. Don't want that. Somebody please fix this mistake for me. That would be definitely appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay, we should be good now. Getting our suits filled up once again. Oh geez. Ah, nice. Looks like the oil has almost been completely pumped out. We actually need a little bit more space, so let's enable the oil refinery. Also, by now I should be able to build my steel reservoirs. So 2 more like so, and we're gonna fill this completely up. I'm actually gonna wait just a tad longer in order to activate the polymer presses. Another thing we could go ahead and do right now is actually put my smart storage bin right here. This should theoretically be reachable. Well, I have to test that, but I would like to build it here, not completely outside of the room. However, that also means we're gonna need a conveyor loader. Maybe put that right here. I also need a little bit of power for that. Let me actually route this through here instead. I think that's gonna be better. So the auto sweeper is gonna fill up the conveyor loader. We just take a bunch of rails and bring it into our smart storage bin. That also means we have to change the automation now. So maybe instead of a smart storage bin, we're gonna exchange this with something else. I wonder if I can reach that. I mean, we could go ahead and build a weight plate here, or even in this spot. Why the heck not? We could just build it here and let the materials drop on there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go all the way to here. Then we take apart the insulated tile. We're gonna have a conveyor chute here eventually. That also means I can have my weight plate sending out a signal right there. Oh no, I cannot actually exchange this. Gosh, okay, so let's do this quickly, please. Ashcan, thank you very much for hurrying up. And now please somebody hurry up with this weight plate. Good, and we can actually also already build the chute. This should still prevent heat from leaking through, at least I believe so. We will have to observe this. There we go, weight plate is in place. Now all we need is the automation wire from this to go all the way over there. No problemo, I would say. So we might want to go ahead and route this through the bottom and then go up like so. Yeah, that should be fine. Maybe we're gonna need a couple of ladders in order to accomplish this. And we're gonna say I want about 2,000 kilograms of plastic. If it is above, we want to send the red signal, so we have to set it to below. Below 2,000 kilograms, we want to enable the polymer presses. That also means I'm not gonna need all this automation anymore. No, thank you. And we also don't need that smart storage bin. And actually, to make this a little bit nicer, I'm gonna route the rail on the top here. I think that's better. And of course, just as a reminder, the reason we want to get this outside of the room is so that people have access to it, even if somebody is working on the refinery. Now that we have used up our oil, it's also time to reconnect this and actually make use of the oil on the other world, which maybe has already accumulated. Yeah, look at that. This is just absolutely amazing. Love it. We also already have 4 kilograms of natural gas in here, so that's another thing we might to hurry up in maybe just a few cycles. I'm also gonna keep on crafting a little bit so we can make use of that polluted water. The dormancy is actually gonna kick in already 27 cycles. That's a little bit concerning. In the meantime, if we have a look around, not much has been done here. A lot has been done here, I guess. And yeah, most of the bottom is actually already finished. Wonderful. I disabled the oil refinery so that we can go ahead and finish everything in this room. I also possibly want to then pick up everything that is just laying on the floor. Another thing that I forgot to set up and you reminded me is we could have a storage bin in either of those critter areas and actually fill it up with the corresponding food. So duplicants won't have to run all over the world in order to actually fill up the feeders. Okay, we're all done here. Let's finally get this out of the way again. Did I build this out of... No, I was hoping to get some steel back. But yeah, I guess getting the space back is fine as well. By the way, this also means we can take apart this contraption. We don't need the sublimation station. And I'm always saying sublimination, but it's sublimation station. That just sounds hilarious. So I'm guessing we can also take the other contraption here apart and maybe rearrange our batteries a little bit more evenly. Let me actually see. Do I need to reroute the power in some way or the other? I guess we could go ahead and build this large power transformer here. Then we take our cabling, continue it here. We take the cabling here. However, I don't want this to be conductive. Let's go with copper. And we are, I guess, gonna go like so and continue like so and go into here. That's all we have to do, right? And then we also need a bridge. And this way I can go ahead, remove this power transformer and have it on the other side. No problems. Okay, there we go. This is actually already in place. So let's go ahead, take apart this power transformer here. And that probably also means, possibly at least, we want to go ahead and have the connection right here at the bottom instead. However, what we possibly want is more batteries, right? Like 2 more batteries here and another battery here on the other side, since we don't need that deodorizer as well. Give me more batteries, that's always a good thing in my books. However, right here at the bottom, of course, now it's not very even, and I'm not happy about that. So since the batteries never run out, there's no opportune moment to actually take these apart. I'm just gonna do it right now. Just get these out of the way, take them apart. Also, we're gonna reroute the cabling slightly so it goes through the bottom. There we go. My new batteries are gonna go like so we have them symmetrically arranged. And we also get way more of them. Good stuff. Got myself some more slug eggs. I guess it can never hurt to actually have enough of these in case we still want to do something with them. At the moment, the power really isn't the problem. That's also why I'm not looking for the most efficient designs power-wise at the moment. However, whenever we start lacking something, of course, we're gonna try to take care of it. And if we need to be any more efficient with anything, I'm definitely gonna take care of that. That reminds me, there's another thing you wanted me to do that I always forget, and that is actually having light for all of the stations. So for instance, we might want to have a little bit of light for these stations here as well. Now the problem is I might not be able to do that elegantly. Yeah, that could be a problem. So if we add 2 tiles here, we would have to take away 2 tiles somewhere else to keep the size of the room. I'm actually gonna do that like so. I mean, it is going to be worth it. People are just more efficient, and it's especially important for the rancher. They have just so much to do. We're also gonna need an automation wire, and of course at some point we will have to power that. What am I using in order to power this at the moment? A cable that is already above its limits. However, we are using not all of these machines. Some of them actually we never use. Like the microbe musher, so that's 240 we can take off. There's another 240 we can take off the calculation. Yeah, we really can hook it up to the same cable here. So that is exactly what I'm gonna do. Hook this up here and then hook this up. Let's go down to the same spot, and there is going to be the light. Okay, do the same thing here on the other side. Take away 2 tiles, add 2 tiles, and then automation wire. You get a duplicate sensor, and finally we need the ceiling light. Wonderful. Another machine that could profit from that is the oil refinery. Now the question is, are we going to be able to set up a sensor and light in a meaningful way? Looks like this sensor could actually hit. Maybe we take apart one of the liquid reservoirs. I mean, otherwise I would have to make some more space. Yeah, this is a little bit of a problem. I can only build things in these 2 tiles, and I don't think that's gonna be enough. What if we enable the oil refinery? I want to check in which tile exactly they work. Is it in the center tile, or is it gonna be a different one? Ah, wonderful. It's actually on this side here. I wonder, can I swap? Oh, we could swap this around. Now I'm actually really tempted. However, this means we will also have to reroute some of these. Let me get rid of it. And we also go ahead and deconstruct the oil refinery. Okay, that might result in a couple of issues here, but what we can do is mop this up just to be sure. Yeah, I want to mop up the oil. And then we're gonna swap out the refinery. So they're gonna work on the other side now. This means I can go ahead and actually bring the oil into here. That is good enough. Maybe, jeez. Too many commands already, but let me go ahead and cancel this because this can continue. All we have to do is remove the top ones here. And maybe instead of a pipe here, we could also use a bridge. So that will go like so. And this is going to allow me to bring the output right here into our petroleum reservoirs. In this case, I will be able to set up a duplicate sensor here and then the lamp on the other side, and this should still give me enough light to actually work on this machine. Yeah, at least I believe so. We have to try it out. Actually, I'm gonna swap the sensor and the lamp. The sensor is still able to reach this tile, and then the lamp is gonna shine a little bit further. Power for the lamp we can simply grab from here. Shouldn't be an issue. Okay, guys, please build that and also take care of the oil here. Thank you. Oh, Ari, you are doing a phenomenal job. I'm proud of you. Almost everything in place now. Wait, I have a little bit of an overlay issue. Okay, that's much better. That was really confusing. Anyways, we now are capable of connecting these pipes again and actually put this to the test. Oh no, it's not working. As soon as I disabled the refinery, the duplicant was pushed over to this tile. So I believe this is the tile we have to measure or actually detect. We could also go ahead and actually take this duplicant sensor and hook it up like so. This way we definitely cover the entirety of the contraption, and then if we set up a lamp here, the light should still reach the spot. I think that is the last possibility we're gonna test out in order to hopefully make this work. Okay, let's see this happen now. Somebody is working on the refinery and we actually have light going on. Now we could potentially go ahead and check. Yeah, right there. It's a lit workspace now. Okay, I'm glad I still found a solution for that. So to wrap up the episode, we're gonna set the filters for our newly placed chests. What is it? Manufactured materials. We want plastic in that one. Oh, actually there's one thing I haven't built just yet, but we can fix that. And then of course the chest for the feeders. Under miscellaneous we find some sulfur for our sweetles. And then here at the bottom we need to have sucrose, which actually counts as a consumable ore. Well, good to know, I guess. But with that out of the way, we can finally wrap up the episode. I sure hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please leave a like, support the video, it really helps me out. Otherwise, I wish you a great time and hopefully I'm going to catch you in the next episode. Bye bye.